So, welcome to episode 1 of the Rants of a Red Devil podcast. I guess we start with where we are at the minute. The coronavirus pandemic. Obviously, all football or sport is off until we don't know when, do we? The FA have said that they want to get football in the Premier League back up and running by June. I don't see it, if I'm honest. But before we go any further about coronavirus, I think rivalries aside, the condolences need to be sent to Pep Guardiola and his family. Obviously, Pep has lost his mom a few days ago due to the coronavirus. So, condolences to Pep. Obviously, it's affected a lot of people around the world, and it's not nice for anybody. But obviously, when it's somebody you're aware of, it seems to hit home a little harder. So, condolences to Pep and his family. But back to the when we might see football again. The FA and the Premier League are saying June. I don't see it happening for two reasons. One is Wimbledon, obviously, the tennis played at the start of June, is already called off. So we're clearly sending out a message, and the authorities are sending out a message that they don't think that this is going to be dealt with by the time June comes along. Otherwise, Wimbledon wouldn't be called off yet. I mean, it was called off, was it last week? So the end of March. So they've still got a month, pretty much, for this to pass. So the fact that they've already called that off tells me that they don't think that this issue is going to have passed by that time. So I don't see the Premier League being able to start at that time. The other reason that I don't think that it will start in June is purely because of the time left. So I think I looked the other day, United had 9 league games left. So they've got 9 league games. They're in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. So if they were to go all the way, you'd be talking another, quarter-final, semi-final, another 3 games in the FA Cup. So that's 12 games. And then the Europa League, call it 6 games left in that, more or less. So you're talking about 18 games to play from June. So you've got to finish the season pretty much by the end of June to give the players at least a pre-season. So you've basically got to fit 18 games in 4 weeks. It's just not feasible. I don't care how fit these players are. I don't care how much money they're on. There is no way that they can play 18 games at the top level in 4 weeks, having just had 12 weeks off. Will it be by the time that this, if it was to blow over by June, it's blown over by? It's 12 weeks. So you're asking a player off 3 months out to hit the ground running, play 18 games in 4 weeks, just to give them a break before the new season starts. And now I know there'll be an argument. There'll be an argument that says, well, why do they need a break? Just carry on into the next season. But the issue with that is, like I said, no pre-season. They've just had 3 months off. They're going to hit the ground running at the highest level. They're going to play the end of this season. Then you're telling them to go straight into the start of next season, play that season. Then they've got the Euros that's obviously been postponed from this summer. So the top players will not have a break again in the summer because they'll be straight at the Euros, then back to their clubs for that pre-season. They'll then play another season, and then it's the World Cup. So you're going to effectively ask players to play at the highest level for 2 years without a break, with no break at all. It's just not feasible, is it? I mean, people might disagree with me, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but I just don't see how anybody can play that much football with no break at the top level, at that highest level. So personally, I don't see the season starting again. I think it'll have to be voided. While we all laugh and joke that that's funny that Liverpool won't win the league, and haha, I also think that we would have got Champions League. I honestly believe that we would have passed Chelsea. We were on a good run of form. We were playing well. I think had the Spurs game gone ahead, we'd have gone down there and got 3 points without a shadow of a doubt. I could see Chelsea dropping points. So I honestly believe that we would have passed them. So I think, for as funny as it is Liverpool not winning the league, this has hurt us just as much in terms of Champions League. Now, regarding Champions League, if we're looking at rumours, Jadon Sancho is obviously the big one in terms of transfers. The rumours are, and the talk is that he wants Champions League football. He would only consider a move to United if they got Champions League football, and that's where potentially this could hurt us as much as it hurts Liverpool. In terms of obviously bringing in Jadon Sancho. Other rumours that are floating around on the other side of it is that Jadon isn't that bothered about missing a year of Champions League football because United have promised him that he will be the star in the team, the new number 7, which can only spell the end of Alexis Sanchez. But anyway, the new number 7 at Man United, the star in the team, in this young, predominantly British team. And I'm hearing that an agreement has been reached. Now, I'm not going to jump up and down and sing and dance because we've seen agreement reached before and a player hasn't come. John Obi Mikel springs to mind. Agreement reached, went to Chelsea. So I'm not going to get too excited. But the fact that we're talking about agreement reached with Jadon Sancho is massive news in itself. If we can get a player of that calibre, I think that's exactly the player that we need. The last out-and-out right-sided winger that we bought was Antonio Valencia a decade ago. So I think it's somewhere that we've been, as a team, crying out for a player in that position, a good, solid player in that position. We've always looked slightly unbalanced as a team, not having anything out there on the right. We've obviously got the defensive capabilities of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but we know that the one area of his game that he needs to improve is going forward. So I think if we get in Jadon Sancho, that just eases that pressure on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because we know that Jadon's is fantastic, isn't he? There's no words. Really, he's probably the best young player in Europe at the moment. So I think that is massive for United. It's the one area that they need to strengthen. Definitely that right side. The other players on the shortlist that we're potentially looking at is Jack Grealish. Now, obviously, there's an article that we've done on site about whether he blew his big chance to move to United with his isolation antics. Go and check that one out. We're not going to go over that again, but ultimately I think the move's still on. But I don't think it'll be the isolation antics that stops Jack Grealish moving to Manchester United. I honestly think it'll be Paul Pogba. I don't see room for Jack Grealish in the team if Pogba is still there, and I don't see room for Jack Grealish in the transfer budget if Pogba is still there. I think the Jack Grealish transfer is very much dependent on Pogba for those two reasons: reinvesting the money and obviously creating that space in the team for Jack to come in. Jadon, I think, is one that United will go for regardless of who comes out or who leaves the club. It's an area that needs strengthening, and they will go to try and strengthen that area. The other one is Jude Bellingham. now, there's obviously a little bit of a tug between us and Dortmund. We've seen what Dortmund have done with Jadon. And I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't some sort of agreement between United and Dortmund that sees Bellingham go there as part of the Sancho coming to us deal, and we'll go and raid him from Dortmund in a couple of years' time when he's had a chance to develop like Jadon Sancho has. Because I think Jude Bellingham's definitely one for the future. I don't think he troubles that starting 11 at Old Trafford. So I think if Bellingham came in, it might be 2 years. It might be an out on loan to a championship club, maybe Birmingham again, keep him in familiar surroundings, and then loan him out next season or the season after to a mid-bottom end of the Premier League team where he's going to get Premier League minutes. So I think it might be beneficial for him to go to Dortmund if we can get an agreement in place to get him from Dortmund once he's developed. Because the money that they're talking in is £30 million for a kid that's 16. We don't know what he's going to develop. He looks like he's got all the potential in the world, but so did Phil Jones. So I think we need to be a bit careful with Jude Bellingham. From what I've seen of him, he does look an incredible footballer. He looks like he's built to deal with the Premier League. And he just looks like he's going to get better and better. But like I say, I think it may be beneficial for him to go to Dortmund first and develop as Jadon Sancho has. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's not that agreement, some sort of agreement in place for that to happen. So in terms of transfers, I think Jadon Sancho is the priority. 100% Jadon Sancho is the priority to give that team balance again. Anything else would be a bonus. In terms of Paul Pogba, we've got to talk about him when we're talking about transfers. I personally think he stays. I think he stays for two reasons. I don't think that there is a club out there that will pay what Manchester United want, especially off the back of this season when he spent good chunks of it out injured. And I don't see a club paying his wages. He's obviously on a lot of money, but he hasn't really delivered at United. I can probably count on one hand the number of good games he's had at Old Trafford. So I ultimately think that Pogba stays. I think all this song and dance, I don't think he wants to be there, but I think all this song and dance about Paul Pogba, does he stay, does he go? I think he stays purely financial reasons. I don't think there's a club that will pay the fee that we're after, especially having spent a season out. I mean, if he can come back next season and perform at the highest level and add to the handful of good games he's had for United, then he might be able to get a move next summer, but I don't see him going anywhere this year. So I think we're probably pretty much looking at just Jadon Sancho through the door in a realistic sense of money and positions that need to be filled. I think we're looking at Jadon Sancho and possibly Odion Ighalo staying on a permanent basis. But I guess time will tell. Time will tell what happened. Time will tell in terms of what's going to happen with the league, whether it starts again, whether it's voided. And I guess time will tell who we're going to bring through the door. We're going to wrap up episode 1 here. If you want to check out more content, more articles regarding United, transfer rumours, stuff that's hitting the back pages, and matchday reviews when we finally get some football back, check out www.rantsofareddevil.com. Link will be left in the description. Check us out on Twitter at RantDevil. Again, the link will be left in the description. And until the next time, we'll say bye for now.